This was how I found out at the block party. My husband and the waitress sneaked into the rental bathroom. 5 minutes before the fireworks began, I caught them. The air hung thick and sweet with the smell of grilled burgers and cheap beer. Lincoln, Nebraska, July 2025. The annual block party, an institution on our street, was in full swing. Kids shrieked with laughter as they chased each other through the sprinkler. Adults huddled in small groups, their voices rising and falling with the easy rhythm of gossip and camaraderie. The sun was starting its slow descent, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. I was helping Mr. Henderson set up the fireworks, meticulously arranging each one in its launch tube. The acrid smell of gunpowder filling my nostrils. I loved this part. The anticipation, the shared excitement that crackled in the air like static electricity. Jeff, my husband, 35 years old, a handsome guy with a perpetually boyish grin, was supposed to be keeping an eye on the grill. Instead, I saw him talking to Mia, the waitress from Tony's diner. Mia, 25, with her bright red lipstick and that annoying little giggle, always seemed to find a reason to be near him. I tried to brush it off. Paranoia wasn't my style. But something felt off. He had been acting strangely the last few weeks, distracted and secretive, coming home late, claiming extra shifts at the office. And then there was Mia, always there, always smiling, always available. Could I really be this jealous? Mr. Henderson, a kind elderly man with a twinkle in his eye, interrupted my thoughts. All right, honey, just a few more to go. Are you excited for the big finale? Definitely, I said, forcing a smile. But my eyes kept drifting back to Jeff and Mia. They were laughing now, heads close together, too close. Then I saw it. They both glanced towards the rented luxury portable bathroom, that gleaming white monstrosity that stood out like a sore thumb amongst the backyard barbecues. Jeff gestured towards it. A quick, almost imperceptible nod. And then they both started walking in that direction. Separately, but deliberately, a cold wave washed over me. My heart started to pound in my chest. I don't know why, but a certainty slammed into me. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong. What would you do if you were me? Would you trust your gut? Would you dismiss it as ridiculous jealousy? I couldn't. Not this time. I mumbled an excuse to Mr. Henderson, a vague promise to be right back, and started to follow them. I walked quickly, trying to appear casual, as if I was simply heading towards the drinks table. But inside, I was a whirlwind of fear and suspicion. I rounded the corner of Mrs. Davison's garage, and there it was, the pristine white bathroom, the kind you see at fancy weddings, with flushing toilets and running water. A ridiculous extravagance for a block party, but Mr. Davison always went over the top. The door was closed. I stopped. My breath caught in my throat. I could hear their muffled voices. I crept closer, pressing my ear against the cool plastic. I couldn't make out the words, but I recognized Jeff's low rumble and Mia's high-pitched giggle. Rage, hot and blinding, surged through me. It was like a switch had flipped. I didn't think, I didn't reason. I just acted. I reached out and yanked the door open, and there they were. Jeff, standing a few feet away from Mia, his face flushed and his tie slightly askew. Mia, leaning against the sink, her red lipstick smeared and her eyes wide with surprise. The air hung thick with unspoken words, with guilt and betrayal. "What the hell is going on here?" I asked, my voice shaking. Jeff stammered. It's not what it looks like." Mia giggled nervously. "We were just what?" I demanded, taking a step closer. "Just having a little rendezvous in the portable bathroom, 5 minutes before the fireworks." Jeff looked panicked. "Honey, please, let me explain." But I didn't want to hear his explanation. I didn't want to hear any excuses or lies. All I wanted was to get out of there, to escape the suffocating feeling of betrayal. I turned and ran. I ran past the startled faces of my neighbors, past the sizzling grill, past the laughing children. I ran until I reached my house, my sanctuary, the place where I thought I was safe. I slammed the door behind me and leaned against it, gasping for breath. Tears streamed down my face. Everything I thought I knew, everything I believed in, had just been shattered. I needed to know the truth. I needed to understand. I found Jeff's phone on the kitchen counter. He never leaves it behind. An idea began to form in my mind. I knew his password, a combination of our anniversary date and our dog's name. I typed it in. Success. I started to scroll through his messages. Nothing. Deleted conversations. Of course. But then I saw it. A hidden folder. He had learned that trick from his sister. I opened it. There were messages from Mia, and they weren't innocent. Flirty emojis, suggestive comments, plans for secret meetings. My stomach churned. One message caught my eye. Don't forget the payment. I need it by the end of the week. Payment? What payment? The messages hinted at something more, something darker, something that made my blood run cold. What was Jeff paying Mia for? And what did it have to do with me? Suddenly, the fireworks display started. The sky lit up with explosions of color, but I didn't even notice. My world had gone dark. That night, sleep eluded me. I tossed and turned in bed, replaying the scene in the bathroom over and over in my mind. The awkward silence, the guilty expressions, the deleted messages. I needed answers. But I knew I couldn't confront Jeff. Not yet. I needed to gather more information to understand the full extent of his betrayal. I needed to see Mia. I needed to look her in the eye and try to understand what was going on. The diner was bustling with activity. The smell of coffee and bacon hung heavy in the air. Mia was behind the counter, wiping it down with a rag. She saw me and her face paled slightly. "Can I help you?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "I need to talk to you," I said, my voice cold and hard. She glanced around nervously. "I'm kind of busy right now." "This can't wait," I said, grabbing her arm. I pulled her into the back room, away from the prying eyes of the customers. "What do you want?" she demanded, her voice rising. "I want to know what's going on between you and Jeff," I said. She looked away, refusing to meet my gaze. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie to me," I said, my voice shaking with anger. "I saw you in the bathroom at the block party. I saw the messages on his phone. I know you're having an affair." Tears welled up in her eyes. "It's not like that." "Then what is it like?" I challenged. She hesitated for a moment, then blurted out, "He's paying me to pretend to be pregnant." I stared at her in disbelief. "Pregnant? Why would he do that?" "He wants to leave you," she said, "but he doesn't want to look like the bad guy, so he's going to claim he's leaving you for me and our baby." The world spun. My head started to swim. This was insane. "He's been planning this for months," she continued, her voice trembling. "He's been saving money, setting up a new apartment. He even forged my signature on a rental agreement." Forged her signature? He was forging documents now? I couldn't believe how deep this rabbit hole went. I asked, "How much did he pay you?" $10,000, Mia answered, her eyes glistening. But it was a lie. I thought I could do it. I thought I was stronger. But I'm tired of lying. "So you're telling me you slept with my husband?" "No, never," she replied quickly. "We only pretended. He told me you were too sweet to leave in the streets." I felt sick. Betrayed on so many levels. I wanted to hurt them both, to scream and shout and break things. But I couldn't. I had to stay calm. I had to think. "I'm going to expose him," I said, my voice low and dangerous. "I'm going to tell everyone what he's done." "Please don't," Mia begged. "He'll kill me." "Then tell me everything," I said. "Tell me everything he's planned. Tell me everything he's done." She hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Okay," she said, her voice barely audible. "I'll tell you everything." Mia revealed everything. The fake ultrasounds, the fabricated doctor's appointments, the lies he had told his family and friends. It was a carefully constructed web of deceit, designed to destroy my life. But why? What had I ever done to him to deserve this? As Mia talked, she revealed something else. Something even more shocking. Jeff was skimming money from my gym. I owned a small fitness studio, a passion project that had become my livelihood. Jeff had helped me set it up, handling the finances and the paperwork. I had trusted him completely, but according to Mia, he had been siphoning off profits for months, depositing them into a secret account. He was planning to use the money to start a new life with her. He's been saying all along that you aren't good with money, so he must hide it so that you don't spend it. This was beyond betrayal. This was theft. This was a calculated attempt to ruin me, both financially and emotionally. There's more, Mia said, her voice trembling. He planted evidence in your gym. Evidence? What kind of evidence? He wants to make it look like you're selling steroids, she said. He thinks that if you get arrested, he can take everything. My blood ran cold. He was trying to frame me, to destroy my reputation, my business, my life. I couldn't believe how far he was willing to go. I opened the door. I thanked Mia for her truth. I'm not sure how to use this, but thanks. She looked at me in shock. My thoughts raced. I needed to protect myself. I needed to clear my name. But how? I went home and started searching the gym. I needed to find the evidence Jeff had planted before the police did. The gym was empty. The late afternoon light streamed through the windows, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. I started with my office, meticulously searching every drawer, every file, every corner. I found nothing. Then I moved on to the storage room, the place where we kept the weights, the yoga mats, and other equipment. I rummaged through the boxes, my heart pounding in my chest. I found nothing but old towels and forgotten water bottles. I was starting to lose hope when I noticed something odd. A loose floorboard under one of the weight benches. I pried it open with a screwdriver. Inside, I found a small plastic bag. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside were vials of steroids. He had actually done it. He had planted the evidence. But how could I prove that they weren't mine? Suddenly, I heard a noise, the sound of someone entering the gym. I quickly hid the bag of steroids under the floorboard and replaced the floorboard. I turned around, my heart pounding. It was Jeff. "What are you doing here?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "I just came to check on you," he said, his eyes shifting nervously. "I was worried about you after last night." "Worried?" I scoffed. "You're worried about me? After everything you've done?" He looked confused. "What are you talking about?" "Don't play innocent with me," I said, my voice rising. "I know about Mia. I know about the fake pregnancy. I know about the money you've been stealing from the gym. And I know about the steroids you planted." His face paled. "How did you find out?" "It doesn't matter," I said. "What matters is that I know the truth, and I'm going to expose you." He took a step towards me, his eyes filled with desperation. "Please don't do this," he begged. "I can explain." "There's nothing to explain," I said. "It's over, Jeff." He grabbed my arm, his grip tight. "Please," he said, his voice cracking. "I'm begging you, don't ruin my life." "You ruined mine," I said, pulling away from him. "Now it's my turn." I turned and walked away, leaving him standing there in the empty gym. I needed to figure out what to do. Should I go to the police? Should I confront his family? Should I try to salvage what was left of my life? As I was contemplating my options, my phone rang. It was my mother. "Honey, I need to talk to you," she said, her voice urgent. "What is it, Mom?" I asked. "It's about Jeff," she said. "I know what he's been up to." I froze. "What do you mean?" "I've known for months that he's been having an affair," she said. I didn't want to believe it, but I saw them together. I saw him with Mia. My heart sank. My own mother had known about Jeff's betrayal and hadn't told me? "Why didn't you say anything?" I asked, my voice shaking with anger. "I was trying to protect you," she said. "I didn't want to hurt you." "Protect me," I scoffed. "You were protecting him. You were letting him destroy my life." "No, honey, that's not true," she said. "I was trying to figure out how to tell you, but then I found out about the money and the steroids." "You knew about the steroids?" I asked in disbelief. Yes, she said. Jeff came to me. He asked me for help. He said he was desperate. He said he was going to lose everything. And you helped him? I asked, my voice filled with disgust. No, she said. I refused. I told him he was crazy, but I was afraid of what he might do. So you did nothing? I asked. I tried to talk to him, she said. I tried to convince him to stop, but he wouldn't listen. He said he was too far gone. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My own mother had been complicit in Jeff's betrayal. She had known what he was doing and had done nothing to stop him. How could I ever trust her again? I'm so sorry, honey, she said, her voice breaking. I made a mistake. I should have told you everything. You're right, you should have, I said. But it's too late now. I hung up the phone, my heart filled with anger and betrayal. I was alone, completely alone. My husband had betrayed me. My mother had betrayed me. I had no one to turn to. I decided to go to the police. I had to report Jeff's crimes. I had to clear my name. I walked into the police station, my hands trembling. I told them everything. About the affair, about the stolen money, about the planted steroids. The police listened patiently, taking notes. They said they would investigate, but I knew it wouldn't be easy. Jeff was a master manipulator. He was good at lying. He was good at getting away with things. I had to find a way to prove his guilt. I had to find a way to expose him for the monster he truly was. I went back to my gym. I needed to think. I needed to come up with a plan. As I was sitting there, staring out the window, I noticed something strange. A car parked across the street. It was Jeff's car. He was watching me. My blood ran cold. What was he planning? I grabbed my phone and called the police. I told them that Jeff was stalking me. They said they would send someone to investigate, but I couldn't wait. I had to confront him. I walked out of the gym and crossed the street. Jeff saw me coming and started to drive away. I ran after him, waving my arms. He stopped the car and rolled down the window. What do you want? He asked, his voice cold and hard. I want you to leave me alone, I said. I want you to stop stalking me. I'm not stalking you, he said. I just wanted to talk. There's nothing to talk about, I said. It's over, Jeff. He stared at me for a long moment, his eyes filled with anger. Then he said, You're going to regret this. And he drove away. I stood there on the sidewalk, trembling with fear. I knew that Jeff wasn't going to give up easily. He was going to fight back, and I had no idea what he was capable of. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing noises outside my house. I kept thinking that Jeff was watching me. I was terrified. I decided to stay at my friend Sarah's house. She was a lawyer. Maybe she could help me. I told Sarah everything. She was shocked. This is insane, she said. He's completely lost it. What am I going to do? I asked, tears streaming down my face. We're going to fight back, she said. We're going to expose him. We're going to make sure he pays for what he's done. Sarah helped me file a restraining order against Jeff. She also helped me gather evidence to prove his crimes. We spent weeks working on the case, poring over documents, interviewing witnesses, building a case against him. It was exhausting, but I was determined to see justice done. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. Jeff was there, looking smug and confident. He had hired a high-powered lawyer. He thought he was going to win. But I was ready. I had Sarah by my side, and I had the truth. The trial lasted for days. We presented our evidence. We called our witnesses. We told the jury everything. Jeff tried to deny everything. He lied. He manipulated. He tried to turn the jury against me, but in the end, the truth prevailed. The jury found Jeff guilty of all charges. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. I felt a wave of relief wash over me. I had won. But the victory felt hollow. I had lost so much. My marriage, my trust, my peace of mind. I didn't know if I would ever be able to forgive Jeff or my mother, but I knew that I had to move on. I had to rebuild my life. I started by focusing on my gym. I poured all my energy into making it successful. I hired new staff, updated the equipment, and expanded the classes. The gym thrived. It became a place of healing and empowerment for me and my clients. I also started to rebuild my relationship with my mother. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of hurt and resentment. But we slowly started to heal. We started to talk. We started to forgive. It took time, but eventually we were able to find our way back to each other. As for Jeff, I never saw him again. I never spoke to him again. I tried to forget him, to erase him from my memory. But he would always be a part of my story, a reminder of the betrayal and the pain. Years passed. I continued to run my gym. I continued to heal. I even started dating again. I met a wonderful man. He was kind, supportive, and trustworthy. He helped me to believe in love again. One day, I was sitting in my gym, watching my clients work out. I felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over me. I had survived. I had overcome. I had rebuilt my life. I had found my strength. Sometimes I still think about Jeff. I wonder what he's doing. I wonder if he ever regrets what he did. But I don't let it consume me. I don't let it define me. I am more than my past. I am more than my pain. I am strong. I am resilient. I am free. The block party still happens every year. I go, but it's different. I can't help but look at the rental bathrooms differently now. The whole experience has changed me. What would you have done? Forgive Jeff? Turn him in? Could you ever forgive someone who tried to destroy your life? Could you forgive your mother for protecting him? Destiny, they say, is what you make of it. I choose to make mine a story of strength, resilience, and ultimately, forgiveness, even if it's just forgiving myself. So, there you have it. My story, but I made it through. And if I can do it, so can you. What do you think? If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what would you choose? Revenge or forgiveness? Write what you would choose. The block party still happens every year. I go, but it's different. I can't help but glance at those ridiculous rented bathrooms, gleaming white against the summer greenery. The whole experience has irrevocably changed me.